Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So we finished watching just a couple of hours ago Game 3 of the 2020 Stanley Cup Finals between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, so however, I only saw the second period. I wasn't here before then, and I had hockey after, so.
But I took notes.
Yeah,
okay.
you saw the whole thing, so you can give
I've realized that
I got my thoughts about the second period
as we've done more and more of these, I have taken more and more notes because things have stuck out to me. So, first off, Stammer's back. We will get to...
Nice goal.
No, we'll get to that in a minute.
Oh, okay.
But just seeing him back, that positive influence, you could tell the team was just totally uplifted that he was there. Like, honestly, throughout the game, we'll come to realize that he didn't play a lot of the game, but what he did was he stayed on the bench and he was able to communicate with his team, encourage them, and tell them things to do right.
The fact that he's not up in the press box, but he's down there.
It's a leadership move.
And they were saying on the announcers or whatever, they were talking about how, like, for example, last year in the final, Boston, when Chara took, I think it was a puck in the face, he came back and he played a bit, and then
the broken jaw.
Yeah, broken jaw. Played a bit with a broken jaw. Played a bit with a broken jaw, but just the fact of him being there.
I support my team.
Just don't.
Yeah, because they'd have it like they'd be in the national anthems, and they would zoom in on Chara. They'd be like, "Woo! Yeah! 7 foot Chara! When is another cup?" Anywho, so so Stamkos is back in the lineup. Blake Como was out for the Dallas Stars after being injured last game in the collision with Ryan McDonough. So Nick Camano, I think that's how you say it, had his first game with the Dallas Stars. I only bring this up because compared to the last two people that just got brought up from the system, he didn't do anything. Which, when the other two is Joel fucking Kiviranta and Joel Hanley, could be better, could be worse.
It's hard to do as good as they've done.
So
especially Kiviranta.
Yeah, so the game right off the bat, it really didn't. It felt like right where Tampa left off. A turnover early in the period leads to a Nikita Kucherov breakaway. Heiskanen gets he gets leaned on and he just flings it right across the blue line, which is a terrible thing to do because those are the passes that get stripped the most into breakaways.
Yeah. As a defenseman, you got to be really careful about those D-to-D passes. Then, anything going laterally when you're on the, especially for example, occasionally we'll have players come out and try to block, and you got to make sure that you don't shoot it into their shins, otherwise hitting them going straight forward. And you got to make sure that even when you're making that, if you're going to try to make that pass, and they're going to try to cut it off, so you got to be careful with that stuff.
Well, I think a lot of it just comes down to, and we're getting very technical on this, but it's just momentum. The entire play has the momentum for a guy who's going to intercept the puck because he's going north. You're putting the puck east type of thing. You're in trouble here. So Tampa Bay would get on the board first.
And once he's gone.
He's gone.
There's no catch.
Kucherov beats Hudobin blocker side. Good shot. Not much to say about that. I don't know. It's tough for me to really ask so much of a goalie when it's just a straight up breakaway from blue line in. You would like a save, but it's not always ideal.
Really, it becomes kind of a 50-50 crap.
Yeah. But I will say,
see what happens.
About a minute later, this is Stamkos' third shift. Now, what they did with Stamkos is genius, in my opinion. They started him on the fourth line. So what they did, or fourth or third. So what they realized was, okay, Stamkos is back. However, he hasn't played in 210 days, I think is what he said.
It's been a while.
So let's not throw him to the wolves.
It's not even just that. It's that they've had these other lines established through that time period, and they don't want to just throw them in there and throw everything off.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you'll throw off all your other players who've been producing so well.
Well, they didn't want to throw him into the firing brigade.
And that as well.
like the Palat Kucherov point, I believe, line is the first line. And then that's the first line, I think. Okay. And that works just on its own. You don't need to touch that.
Yep.
So, Stamkos gets the puck on the boards and immediately sidesteps, I believe, Rupe Hintz. Might have been a defenseman. Cuts to the net, but doesn't even cut a lot. Like, he comes through the middle of the circle and just snipes it.
Just blew past the defense.
He blasts the puck.
Well,
blocker side again.
Like when he was going over the blue line, he just blew right past him. Like, because obviously I didn't see the first period, so I didn't see it. But I remember when I
saw the highlights.
I saw the highlights. When I came in, there was 3 minutes left in the first period, and they were talking about how, like, obviously Stammer's back, and they show the highlights.
And then they said,
it's just launches right around this defense. It's gone.
That I have, so for any of you wondering, in my notes I have Stammer's back at the top for Stamkos' back.
Of course.
And then I have in all caps, Stammer's back for when he scored 2-0 Tampa Bay. So after that, we had Chernak took a penalty that was a tripping penalty. And now, this is what I talked about actually last video, if any of you guys watched. I talked about officials making the calls from the back officials making calls and why that's a bad idea. Dan O'Rourke called this from the neutral zone. And
on paper, it's a bad idea.
Wes McCauley was in the corner and he didn't call it. Who do you think has a better view? The dude who's standing 2 zones away, or the dude who's standing 2 feet away?
If your name is Wes McCall,
okay,
you should
but
be
like,
making every call.
but at the same time, like that just shows it was a little weak of a call. Now, right after that,
and like I said, the idea of the back official making I've never liked that.
no,
on paper it's a bad idea.
The only time it works is when there's a rush, because what happens is on rushes, players get stuck in your stuck in your line of sight. That's where I use it the most, like where I lean on my back.
Stuff behind the play.
So, next thing I have here, Seguin woes. Tyler Seguin is doing terribly.
Useless.
He looks horrible.
100%
and like,
useless.
Don't get me wrong. And people may be like, oh, well, he deserves to be on the first line.
He's not.
Does he? Does he really? I would rather have Joe Pavelski on the first line.
Pavelski's done.
I would rather have Dennis Gurianov on the first line. These guys can score. Tyler Seguin cannot score to save his life. In the first period,
and I think one of the big problems with that, and I've heard this from some Dallas fans, is like, if he's still playing with them, like hopefully eventually he'll get back in. Well, he hasn't gotten back into it. Like you keep hoping, but there's nothing there.
You know what?
There's no indicators.
You know what I found was the biggest the dead canary in the coal mine that Seguin had a problem. They compared Seguin's return to form as Stamkos' return to form. A dude who hasn't played in 210 days.
That's embarrassing.
They said maybe Seguin will come back, just like Stamkos. I'm like, he's been here the whole time. You just haven't seen him play good.
Well, I mean,
for the record, let me just say, for the record,
he's kind of been out there. So has he really been there?
I took the time to notice when I thought Tyler Seguin had a very good scoring chance and did not score. And I have 4 times in this game. It's just Tyler Seguin written on it.
Maybe he has to stop being that whole last off the ice.
Well,
it's not working for him. It's not working for him.
Okay, but here's the thing.
What was it? Was the one time where he played rock, paper, scissors with Mark Scheifele?
Oh, there's more than one time. But that is a tangent that I will not go on.
So,
but yeah, just a main point here. Tyler Seguin needs to return to form. Kiviranta gets called for a little bit of a soft interference. He plays a little bit of a pick play on Tyler Johnson, I think. However, my problem with the call, and it's funny, my dad was like, it's a call. It's the call. It's the right call. You don't see it as much in playoffs as in thing. Here's the thing. Yeah, first period. Here's the problem. The call was made because Kiviranta made a pick play on Johnson, a little just kind of like that. But the play was at the blue line. The puck's at the blue line. Did he interfere with him? I guess. But was he ever gonna get that puck? No. You had another good 4 feet, which kind of makes the penalty irrelevant. But I digress on that.
Probably get on to some second period.
However,
we spent
though,
a bit of time on this,
so this would lead Dallas to being shorthanded because the Chernak penalty overlapped a bit, and then they were shorthanded. And this one shocked me. So Dickinson and Rupe Hintz are both down low in the Tampa zone, shorthanded. Hintz has the puck and just goes, take it or leave it, Dickinson. Dickinson shoots it, and Vasilevsky, I'm pretty sure, shit his pants because Vasilevsky was not ready for that shot. Go back and watch the goal. Vasilevsky's like this. If this is his net, this is where he should be. He's like this. Oh fuck! And he moves. He makes a move back, and he gives it up short side to Dickinson, which is a bad goal, especially shorthanded. Like, Dickinson turns around, and he looks like he's like, oh, yeah, guess we scored, like... Yeah. But, yeah. And then, a funny thing that happened. The net comes off, and nobody gives a shit. For a minute and a half. So, let me put this...
Is the play in that zone? Because
No! The play's not even in the zone. But listen. Okay, so here, this was nuts to me, because this seems so extra. And I'll explain why I had a problem with this in a second.
Let's hear it.
So Dallas has a rush, okay? One player has it on the boards. Net's here. Other player does not have it. He gets tangled up with the defender. He goes, and he himself, only him, goes into the Tampa net. Meanwhile, the Tampa player, and the net goes like if the net's here, it just goes sideways, like back sideways. There's no way you can say you scored on the net. The puck gets turned over to Tampa, though. And I think it's Jamie Benn. Jamie Benn's just standing in the net like, are you going to blow this thing? No? Oh, okay. Cool. Sure. The play goes on into the neutral zone and then on a counterattack by the Lightning. And the play's still going. They don't score. And now the puck is back in the neutral zone. And it's still going. And I'm like, whoa.
So this is on the Tampa net went off.
Yeah. But here's the problem with this. Why did it not get blown dead? Because it's not possession. This is a thing that I think they need to remember. It's not gonna get blown down because it's not like you are not blowing it down. Like you're not waiting for Dallas to get possession of the puck. No, you're waiting for Tampa's scoring chance to end. If you fuck that up, here's what happens. If I'm Andre Vasilevsky, I'm like, well, fuck this. I'm going to the bench. We'll play it like a power play now because they physically can't score on my net because my net is out of play.
Well, exactly. If you're Vasilevsky, you're not putting that net back.
You're not putting that net back.
Let's go. You're not putting that net back because all you're doing is if you pull it back, you're keeping it off. No, you're keeping it off because if they score, it's not counting. Clearly.
No, not even close. And a referee can't. This isn't like little minor hockey, like where I quickly run up to friggin' Tiddlywinks arena, Tiddlywinks what's it called, net, and I'm like, oh no, don't worry about your post, buddy boy. I'll put it in. Oh damn, you let in a goal. You should have paid attention. No, you can't do that in the NHL. They have to leave the net as it is. So I just think they should have killed the play earlier. It was kind of humorous. I literally walked up to my dad, and I'm like, what the fuck was that? And he's like, I have no idea why they didn't blow that play dead. So, and then Seguin misses the net, an open net at the 4-minute marker. Okay, also, so here's the problem. Okay, Dallas's big line played like a big pile of shit tonight. Jamie Benn was probably the best, but even he had a bad day. He took a lazy penalty in the third period okay, don't get me wrong. This penalty he takes with...
let's go through a second before...
Okay, we'll go through a second. We'll get to Radulov first, actually. Alexander Radulov took 2 penalties, and both of them were bad. He took, I believe, an interference penalty at the end of the first period, which cost them a goal at the 3... when Hedman scores to make it 3-1. Hedman, by the way, was just walked into the slot and got
Walked
a perfect
into the
pass from a
slot.
guy who was deeper in the
Nobody
slot for
on
some
him.
reason. Like,
It was on and off his stick and straight past him. It was nice. It was a really
blocker
nice
side too.
It was a really nice.
Yeah, Dallas
Isn't that
was.
where Kucherov scored? You said.
Yeah, that's where all of the goals were scored. They did a thing on that. 5 goals were scored there. But like Dallas was a smoldering tire fire there, and I'm not kidding. There were
one big
4
dumpster
guys
fire.
below the bottom of the circle on that play,
Are we
and
talking
none
about
of
when they
them
were-
got the puck.
Are we talking
when
about this-
Hedman scored?
Yeah.
There
And I
was
noticed
3 behind the net.
They had a power play later that period, where I think it was. It wasn't. It couldn't have been Stamkos because I think Stamkos was already off.
Stamkos did not play after the second
Yeah,
period. He played maybe 1 shift of the second,
he
but
played.
nothing
He played
else.
early on, but I can't remember who it was. But they had literally 5 guys below, like halfway down the circle, on a power play, and they can't. And there's one player on tap. I can't remember who it was, and they can't. Like he's just like it's just like it's pathetic. It's pathetic. They have 5 guys down there, and they can't beat 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And sure, they got a guy out there waiting for a pass, but if no one's gonna battle and get the puck, that pass is useless.
Well, that's
There's
the whole
there's nothing
problem.
there.
Is what I like to say is the whole problem with cherry picking is if you ever watch cherry picking like in any
You're just
sports,
taking yourself out of the play.
you're
You
waiting
are
for
useless.
people to bring it to you, and it's hard
if
for
they
them to
can't
do
bring
that
it-
because you're not pulling on the rope.
Well, it's
Now-
also not. It's also hard for that to happen if 4 players are standing around one doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
though,
From
so
the period I saw, from like
the second
from
period,
my the second period, Dallas it was not close. It was
you saw the
it was
worst period.
horrendous.
Yeah, you saw the worst period.
Horrendous. It was just, and it was a bunch of little things that added up. It's just laziness. They're in the corner. They're not battling. There's a guy from Tampa, whoever it is. It doesn't really matter at some points, and they're
Yeah.
grinding and they're just sticking.
Yeah,
They're
like-
not getting in there. They're not using their body to separate him from the puck.
Yeah.
And they're losing these battles, and they're losing possession, and then Tampa goes and walks all over them, and sure enough, they go and score another goal.
Yeah, so Radulov takes another penalty after this. He took 2 penalties in a row. The second one was bad because it was a hooking in his defensive zone at the blue line on the boards. Like, Radulov's penalties were boneheaded, and actually Radulov
Hooking
might
is
have gotten
never a good
injured
penalty
in the.
to take.
Well, no.
Like,
no,
occasionally
no.
there's
there's one place where hooking's okay, and it's on a breakaway, and
Well,
only
okay.
if you
Okay,
get them to
breakaway's
call it a hook. If you get him to call it a penalty shot,
Penalty
no,
shot,
you
yeah,
haven't
yeah.
done any. No, you've just let him get
And
a mulligan.
occasionally you'll have the thing where you go and you're battling with a guy, your stick gets caught, they grab onto your stick, and what can you do?
Yeah, but anyway.
But that was clearly not the case.
Yeah, but anywho, like, I would say Point would then score on a pass across to make it 4-1 for Tampa. This second period, by the way, was just an evisceration of the Dallas Stars. The Dallas Stars did not keep point pace at all.
Yeah, like
I
said,
literally
and
wrote
that was
down...
the only one I saw. So all I saw was just
before...
a train wreck.
Before the 5th goal, I wrote down Tampa slaughter. Because this is what I talked about. Did you see any of the video that I did?
Well, I mean, I was recording.
So
it.
I was talking about the cons of teams, right? And my big pet peeve was if you hang Hudobin out to dry, you just can't. If you're not supporting him, you won't get the best out of it.
I can't remember which goal it was where he got hung out to dry.
All of them!
No, but there was one.
All of them! He was hung out to dry.
Yeah.
Stamkos got to be Stamkos. Kucherov in a breakaway from nowhere. Hedman.
What was that 4th goal?
All alone.
Who scored the 4th goal? Was that Braden Point?
Braden? No. Yes.
That was Point and...
Point got the 4th and the
where did that play?
Oh, no. Palat got the 5th. Sorry.
And how did that play generate? I'm trying to remember.
I'm trying to remember myself. Palat's was a tap-in.
Yeah, I remember that.
Points was just a shot just from the slot around it.
Yeah. Well, especially with that Hedman goal. He walks in, and there's about 3 guys standing around him. And the problem is that when you're defending in your own zone, being around the guy is not good enough.
Yeah.
It's not. because
it was off the rush.
It's
by the way.
on and off his stick in like no time. So if you don't even have a stick in there, you're just leaving Hudo open up to drive. You're useless. Being around the guy is
useless. That's bad.
Let's see it again.
It's a 3-on-1. Sorry, in real time we're doing our fact checking right now because we don't edit.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, this was. Yeah, I was.
That's a fucking NHL 20 play. He pulled up 20.
That's
where you know NHL 20 players. We all know the move. You come this way.
The backdoor pass.
Your computer goes this way. You pass it, and then your computer does the most robotic and just absolutely obliterates the goalie's water bottle and the player's morale. That's the goal.
That's a threes play.
That's a go home. You're trash.
That's the go-to goal in NHL.
Yeah. So anyway, Palat would then score.
A lot of goals with it.
That was nice. So then in the third period, Ottinger got the start.
Now,
that was the right call.
One thing I will say, based off, I only saw the second period, and I think me and you both predicted that Tampa was going to win this game 7-2. Going into the third game.
Although, you know what I did say?
I was basing that off
I said yesterday that Tampa was going to score. I said one of these games, Tampa's going to score like 6.
Yeah, you were saying that you and your buddy Jeremy were saying that.
Yes, we were saying that. And
They didn't, but it didn't
It
matter.
felt like it.
It felt,
they beat them 5-2.
Yeah. And obviously I was making that prediction based off, because I didn't see the first, so I wasn't sure how because obviously
they sat back after the second.
Okay, because the second was a slaughter. Yeah. How bad was the first compared to the second?
The first period,
make this quick.
It's funny. The first period was more evened up, but that's because there just wasn't as
evened
much.
up and Tampa.
Here's the thing. The third period, there was just boneheaded. Like the third period, you had your typical "this game is out of hand, so we're just gonna make it out of hand physically."
Yep, and goalie switch with Ottinger going in.
Ottinger was the right call. Hudobin. There's a clip of Hudobin and Radulov they showed them just talking, just on the bench, just chatting. And Radulov, because they're both Russian, so I'm assuming Radulov is talking in Russian. Because believe it or not, they don't all just speak English to each other all the fucking time. I know! Shocking.
Heaven forbid somebody.
Heaven fucking forbid they speak their native
first
tongue.
Language.
Holy. So, anywho, this is going quite long actually.
Yeah,
we'll try to make sure it's not like half an hour.
Yeah, so
because that's an episode.
Let's wrap this. Yeah.
But anyway, Ottinger was the right call because Hudobin needs to be fresh for the next game, and he doesn't deserve to sit in there.
Yeah, he does.
Say he missed the net again with 18 minutes left. Heiskanen scores. Heiskanen scored.
I did not see that goal.
It was just a shit show.
Was it a rebound? Was it just a shot straight in?
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was it was just like an open net pass across play. That's his low power mode on your phone.
Yeah, I know. Let's fix
the one day you don't bring your charger.
Yeah, it said low power mode. Who cares? It's fine.
Anywho, we're gonna
keep going.
We're very close to wrapping this up. I swear we are.
Swear to God, if my phone dies and we lose all this.
So this is just the rest I have. This is my. Do you want me to wrap it up right now? I can wrap it up.
Go for it. I didn't see the third period.
I'll wrap it up right now. The third period was. By the way, the thing I was gonna say about Jamie Benn. Jamie Benn got called for a 2 and a 10. It was a soft 2 and a 10, but the fact that he was just scrumming around doing nothing in this game shows that their top line did not produce at all. Joe Pavelski got an assist on Heiskanen's goal, which reinforces the fact that Joe Pavelski is probably one of the most valuable Dallas Stars right now. Just simple stats. And honestly, next game, if this is Dallas
has got to come out with fire.
Here's what I'm thinking.
Next game.
So, what's your prediction for a Dallas win and the Lightning win? Give me your numbers, your scores, and then I'll do mine.
If Dallas wins,
yep,
3-2 OT.
Okay. What if Tampa wins?
Tampa wins, 3-1.
Okay. Oh, fuck off! I had those numbers.
Those exact ones?
No, I didn't. I had if Dallas wins, it's 3-2 in regulation. Because if they go to OT, they're in trouble.
That's a good point, but
If Tampa wins, we're looking at like a 4-0 game.
shut out. Ugh.
Yeah.
The only reason
Because here's the thing. It's 4-0.
Yeah.
Like, because they're just it's
Yeah.
4-0 or 4-1.
And the only reason I said 3-2 OT
Oh,
is
that's
because
fine.
well,
They're
I know,
good.
I know, but I just want to make sure say why is because if Dallas is winning this next game, they're squeaking by. They're not going to do what Tampa did.
You're looking at
They're
what
not-
the
if
least
they have-
earned win type thing.
Yeah, if they're gonna win, they're gonna squeak by. Because I'm gonna be honest, I don't think Dallas is. I don't think they got it.
No, and you know what? Like Dallas has a solid team, but there's so much going wrong.
And the skill of Tampa is catching up with them.
Mhm.
They had this momentum.
Well,
counting
you know
through
what they
their
had?
series.
You know what they had in that beginning game? They got lucky because they won in 5, and Tampa won in 6. So
they got a little bit of rest, but now you know.
But like all in all,
momentum can only carry you so far
Uh-huh.
before the skill of the Lightning
Takes over.
are going to take over,
Yeah.
especially with Stamkos coming
Yeah.
back.
So
And
all
the
in,
morale boost that those players are going to have, in addition to the obvious,
Mhm.
they outskilled Dallas. I don't think anybody disputes that.
Yeah. So I would say all in all, that pretty much wraps up our Game 3 review.
quite a long one.
If you enjoyed it, please let us know in the comments, like, share, and subscribe, because we'd like to have more than 15. We're very appreciative of the 15, by the way. I should say that. I should have started with that. For those of you who are subscribed, thank you. This is a little bit stressful for us because we don't know how to really do this. We don't edit, as you can tell from that debacle.
Yeah, Hockey doesn't edit. He's got tons.
Doesn't he have like a board? We need a board. We need a board. No, you know what I want? I want one of those coaches' drawing boards because I want to be like, he was here and there, and then he passed it there. Anyway, I digress. So tomorrow we are going to be releasing about around a 30-minute podcast, or our second episode of our podcast.
Yeah, we're going to do our
Hockey
podcast.
We are going to be talking about.
Okay.
Can I say what we're going to talk about?
Go for it.
We're going to touch on some things. We're going to touch on some stupid and some good things. Some good things we're going to touch on is the awards.
Yeah. And we're going to not really focus that much on the playoffs, just as that.
It's a separate entity.
We're doing reviews of each game, so there's really no point in that.
Yeah.
We're going to do some of the recent stuff. There's a few trade rumors.
Patrick Hornquist.
That's going to be
We are going to look at the Penguins, and the Penguins are a dumpster fire, and I fucking love it. Jim Rutherford is trying to reverse the aging process.
Let's not get into
That's
that.
the tagline. Okay.
And,
So once
talk
again,
about some of the awards, obviously, and
Yes.
some other news in the hockey world. So
yes.
that's
Thank
that.
you all for watching. Like, share, and subscribe once again, and can't wait to hear from you again.